Hello, everyone. All right, my name is Christina Hampton. I get to be your trainer and your host for today. And today we are talking about behavioral alerts and behavioral automation. For those of you who are watching the replay, you can always register to attend these live. You can either scan the QR code that you're seeing right now, and I'll come back to this, or you can find our live training calendar right from within KV Core itself. So we offer these success meetups 3 times a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Tuesday, Thursday tend to be a little bit more basic, Wednesday a little bit more advanced. We get to do deep dives on things and dive into, some really good use case scenarios, uh, things like that. So today we're going to go over a common question, something that is commonly needs to be reviewed, and that is behavioral alerts and behavioral automation. So this is one of my favorite features of KV Core. Okay, not my absolute favorite feature because I really geek out about daily call creation, but one of my favorite features of KV Core. We are all the articles that I share today is going to be available on this Google Doc. So if you are here live, I'm going to put that in the Zoom chat right now. I do need to add a little bit to it. There it is if you're there live. If you're here on the YouTube channel, it should be right below in the description. So you should be able to access this there as well. So we are going to talk about what is a behavioral alert? What is this thing? What behaviors are being looked at, how we can make edits to that, what happens when someone triggers those behaviors, how I can make edits to that, where I find those things. We're going to talk about all of that today. So let's start from the beginning. What is a behavioral alert? A behavioral alert is where we at inside real estate, not as humans, this is all computery, are tracking the browsing behavior of your leads and your contacts on your KV Core website. Okay, that's what it is. Now you can see all of that activity happening already because when someone is going back onto your KV Core site, you can see that in the dashboard. Right. So I can see that Mandy looked at, a couple properties. I can see that Jenna looked at properties. I can see that this person asked a question. They submitted a home valuation. Someone requested a showing. So I can see all of that on my dashboard. But what happens in real estate and in life, we get our leads, whether that's from a landing page, a squeeze page, a property boost, an open house. We're getting these leads and we put them on automation in KV Core, put them on smart campaigns, search alerts, market reports, all that kind of stuff. But really, really common when we get a new lead and we are calling them as is scheduled for us, they tell us they're just looking, right? And so that's normal. That's perfect. Great. You keep just looking. I'm going to put you on a smart campaign. So I'm reaching out on a regular basis. I'm going to keep you on search alerts or a market report, depending on what your needs are. So that way I'm continuing to be the realtor that you think about when you think about real estate. Now, what we cannot control is what's happening in that person's life, right? I can't control their credit score, their motivation, their family situation, their job situation. I can't control any of that, right? I can control that I'm doing my calls and tasks. I can control that I'm reaching out to them periodically and that I'm giving them value with a search alert and a newsletter or articles they might like I can make sure that I'm providing value. None of that is going to change when they finally bump up their credit score or they get that promotion or they find out they're pregnant. I can't control any of that, right? So, but what happens is when someone's life situation changes, that's when we need to be reaching out, and we don't know when that is. And while we can't track that, what we can track is what people are viewing on your website. And we found that that tends to indicate a change in their motivation. Okay, so someone goes from just looking and just casually looking at a couple properties a week. They might even ask you questions about it, um, but they're just looking. So when they complete a specific behavior, and this is the list of specific behaviors, then we want to strike while the iron is hot, right? We want to reach out to them. We want them to know, hey, I should be your go-to person. Now, since this behavior is being tracked through my KV Core website, they are already thinking about me, and they revisit my website after being gone for 14 days. I want to reach out right now, because right now is when they're thinking about real estate. Right now is when they're primed to have a real estate conversation. And so that's what behavioral alerts do. Behavioral alerts track this behavior, and we alert you, the agent, and then we reach out to your lead and your contact. So we track these behaviors very specifically, and then we notify you about it, and we reach out to your contact. Okay, so that's what a behavioral alert is. It's when a contact does any of these things. Okay, now there are a couple like nuances in here. Like, for example, if someone comes back to my site for the first time in 14 days, and while they're doing that, they view 5 different properties and they favorite a property, that's 3 different behavioral alerts, but we don't message them for all of those. We even tell you that. So, for example, when your lead triggers one of these behaviors, we are going to send you a notification, right? We don't want you to guess that any of this is happening. We're going to straight up tell you, hey, this lead did this thing, and we did or we did not follow up with them. So, see, I took some screenshots for us. Just have to find them again. Here they are. So you can get notified within KV Core in 3 ways. You will pretty much always get an email. You can choose to also get a text message or a push notification. Okay. And so if you get the email that you get, so let me pull that up for us. Here we go. So I got an email, and my email said Mandy Waters is the lead. She revisited my site after 14 days. So that's the behavior that she completed. It tells me exactly what's going on. And she was also sent an email. So this is what it looks like in my email. If you are not getting your notifications, please add no reply at kvcore.com to your contact list. So I just popped that into the chat. I'm going to add that onto our doc as well under other articles and resources. So add that email address as a contact. Ooh, that is horribly formatted. Okay, I'm going to play with that, but it'll be on that sheet for us as well. Okay, so while Mandy was in my on my website, and while Mandy was continuing to look around, she actually did more than just this, right? She triggered more than one behavioral. And so let me pull up that one for us. There we go. So while she was browsing around, she also favorited a property, right? So she came back to my site, great. But while she did that, she then also favorited a property. So we don't want to reach out multiple times, like in a 2-minute time period, right? So since she did both of these like rapid succession, one right after the other, I still get notified that she did that behavior, but this time she wasn't sent a message. Okay, so this is what my email notification looks like. If I want to look at my mobile app, I did grab a screenshot of that. So I couldn't get the actual notification. I couldn't get it to allow me to take a screenshot of that, but it does tell you pretty much exactly that same thing. So you get a notification in your phone, so and so triggered this behavioral. So then you click on it in your phone and you get this. And I will put all these screenshots in that doc as well. So it told me Mandy Waters. So it told me who it was. So in the email, I can go to my lead detail record from here. I can click right from here. It's going to open up KV Core. It's going to take me right to that lead detail record, and I'm going to be able to see a whole history of everything that's happened with Mandy. So here's Mandy. As I scroll down to earlier today, let's see, what is today's date? The 9th. So there we go. I updated her name. That's right. So this would be, more real. So here we go. Mandy viewed 3 properties, right? She perused around on my website and she was sent an email, restart your home search. That's the behavioral alert email that was sent to her. Now, she was sent an email and not a text because I don't have her phone number. If she had a phone number in here, then she would have been sent a text message because people are more likely to respond to that. She continued to browse. She saved this property. And so I can see all of that here in her timeline. I can see everything that's happened to her today. So Mandy was browsing at properties. She triggered these behaviors. I got notified about them via email and via push notification. I can then look at my detail either on the computer or if I was looking at it from my phone. There's that screenshot. There it is. I was looking at it from my phone. Then it takes me to her lead detail record here. So this is what it would look like in the KV Core mobile app. Quick tip, if you have not downloaded the app, definitely want to do so. It's very helpful for things like this. Now that I'm here, now I can choose to take action. So I can review the email that was sent to her. That's going to be the next thing that I do. I get notified and I'm going to review what outreach has happened, right? So I'm going to view her email right from here. Hi, Mandy. I'm glad you're able to spend a bit of time on my site again. It looks like you're doing a few different home searches. I'll research your areas and set up some property alerts to keep you top of the market. Anything specific you're looking for? Best, Christina. So that's the default email. You can edit these. I don't recommend that you do, but I will show you how to do it anyway. So this is the email that has been sent to Mandy. So now what action should I take? Right, Mandy took the action. Mandy went and searched. She went and saved something. KV Core took an action. It reached out to her with this email. It notified me. But now what do I do? That depends on you. It depends on your history with Mandy. So for example, Mandy here is a brand new lead. I also don't have a phone number for her, but at least now I know she's, getting my emails. So I can choose to scroll down on the left-hand side and see where her source is. Where did she come from? That might give me some insight. I might choose on the right-hand side to take some action. That's what I'm definitely going to do, right? Mandy's been looking at properties. I'm going to either take action myself or I'm going to scroll down and check in on her automation. And so what I see here, right, I just got notified of a hot behavior. I'm now going to check the lead, check and see what's going on. So we just sent her an email. If I had her phone, I'd probably send her a text or give her a call. I don't. So I can choose to interact from here. So I could choose to send her a core video now. I could choose to send her a different email. I probably wouldn't, to be honest. We've already sent her one email today. So if I am going to send her something email E, it's going to be a core video, something like a little bit more special. I could add a task to myself to check in with her tomorrow. That's with this scenario, that's what I would do. Honestly, I would check in with her tomorrow, add a task for myself, check in and follow up, like anything like that. Maybe send other properties she might like if she hasn't responded. right? I'm looking at what has already occurred. Oh, I picked today. Let me pick tomorrow. All right, so I'm giving myself something to do tomorrow. I'm going to probably add her to a smart campaign either today or tomorrow when I check in with her. All right, so that's if she doesn't respond tomorrow, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to check in, I'm going to put her on a smart campaign. And that's what I would do here. I might put her on a market report if I wanted to. If she was a seller lead, I would definitely put her on a market report. So that's what you want to do with behavioral alerts, right? You get notified, you get an email, you get a push notification. You want to then look at their record so that way you're aware of the action that's happened and then you want to do something. You could choose just to give yourself a task. You could do all kinds of things. So that's behavioral alerts. Okay. It's where we look at this very, very specific list of behaviors. We track these things for you so you don't have to track them. For example, looking at 5 properties in 24 hours a day. What I can see in my KV core is, property views popping up. I'm not sitting there and counting. The other one that I'm not sitting there and counting is if they look at a specific property 3 times, right? I'm not sitting there and counting these things, but I do want to be alerted to them, right? I want to know when this person does a hot behavior. Okay. Now, there's a couple other things in here. For example, daily call creation, which is my favorite feature. If someone triggers one of these hot behaviors and I don't call them, in a week, it's going to schedule a call for me. So there's all kinds of like safety nets within KV Core, which is why I love them so much. So I do recommend calling. That Mandy scenario that we walked through. She didn't have a phone number, so I couldn't call her, but that's usually what I would do. I would give her a little bit of time to like respond to my outreach, and then I would probably schedule a call for the next day. So that way, in case she didn't get back to me, that's what I would do. So how do we get more people to trigger behavioral alerts? Well, we want to have them on the 2 main ways to drive them back to our website, which is search alerts and market reports. We have a whole other webinar about adding people to search alerts, whole other webinars for re-engaging with contacts. So we won't go too deep down that unless someone asks a question about it. Then of course we will. But so this is behavioral alerts. These are the behaviors. So you can be in charge of who's going to get these alerts, right? It's not necessarily appropriate for every single status of contact. So you can turn these off or on based on status for your whole account. You can also turn them off or on for an individual person. Okay. So here is the default, just kind of scrolling up. By default, anyone who might become a client is on behavioral alerts. So anyone who's an active lead, so someone currently talking to me, anyone who's a prospect, so I know they're interested in real estate, someone who's new, I have no idea what they want, and people who are in my sphere. That's the default. Any of those people look at your website and complete one of these behaviors, it triggers a behavioral alert. Now, you can say, I don't want my sphere to be on this, or I do want my archived on this. You can make those changes. I'm going to show you how. Before I do, I'm going to show you how to change it for the individual, just because we're here. So we're just going to do that first. So I've got Tiffany here. Based on my default settings, she's a new lead. And so she would trigger these behaviors. For whatever reason, maybe that's not appropriate for Tiffany, right? She's, okay, to make it a real scenario. So Tiffany's a prospect because we have talked, okay? And I know that she's not going to buy for 2 years. She's just not. Okay, 1. I put buyer 2024. And she has told me, do not reach out to me until this date. Okay, I'm going to respect that. And I'm probably going to put a note in here, but I'm going to go to more actions. And I am going to turn off behavioral alerts for this person because she is in my prospects, which means it's on for her, but I'm going to turn it off because she specifically does not want this, right? So let's say at a giant global setting, you have this on for your sphere of influence, but there's a couple people in your sphere this isn't really appropriate for. you can go to that individual and you can turn it off or turn it on. Or the flip side, let's say my default is that my clients, I have this off for, which makes sense. My clients should be searching on my site all the time. I don't want them getting these automated canned responses. I don't, for my clients and or my contracts. Right. So, but maybe I have a client who is an investor. So we are currently in offers on one property, but I know that they're continuing to look. So for them, I want it on in case they find something. Same thing. I go to their contact record. I go to more actions on the right hand side. I scroll down and I turn behaviorals on for them. So that's the other thing I really, really like about this feature is you have your global settings and then you have your exceptions to the rule. So I love it. All right, let's look at how we can set our global settings. So in KV Core on my left-hand navigation, I'm going to go down to marketing, which is the 5th item down. Now I am going to click on marketing because there is so much marketing. I can get to behavioral automation in 2 places. One is the top right-hand corner, and one is if I scroll down, it's the last thing on the list. Either one will get me there. So we are going to talk about behavioral alerts first, and then we'll touch behavioral automation because it's cool too. So behavioral alerts, this is what we just talked about, right? So behavioral alerts are automatic communications sent to your contacts when they perform specific behaviors on your site, your KV Core site. These alerts drive engagement and help to keep you top of mind with your clients. We do not recommend changing the default settings on behavioral alerts. When a user performs a behavior identified in the table below, we send them the text message for that behavior. If they do not have a phone number, we send them the email. You can also be alerted to this user's behavior. You could turn it on or off, sending of the agent an alert. Behavioral alerts can be turned off for individual clients in their profile page, right? So basically what I just told you. So here are the statuses. We have it on for active leads. We have it on for new leads. We have it on for our sphere. We have it on for our prospects. Personally, I like to turn it on for my archived. If they go back to my website, I certainly want to know about that. And your sphere, I have been training on KV Core for, man, almost 5 years now. And so I've trained literally thousands of agents and they are split down the middle. Half my agents think Sphere, this is too salesy for them. And half my agents think, of course, I want to get notified if my Sphere does one of these. That is a personal decision for you to make. I would say if most of your Sphere should have this on, then leave it on and go through and edit the other people. If most of your sphere should have this off, turn it off and go in and edit the other people. This is also something you don't have to touch ever. You just know that it's here. So as I scroll down, it shows me the behaviors that we're talking about, right? So not just here on this spreadsheet or on this article, but I can actually see here's the behavior. And each behavior is managed whether I'm getting an alert or not. So if I don't care, that's the wrong word to use, but if I don't need to be alerted that people are coming back to my site, I can turn that off. The behavior is still happening. They're still getting emails, they're still getting text messages. That is all still happening. I can still see that in their lead detail record, but maybe I just don't want to get this notification. I can turn it off. Okay. The other thing that I can choose to do is preview or edit the email or the text that's going out. So reminder, if we have a phone number and they are subscribed to text messaging, we will send a text message. If we are missing one of those two, then we will send an email. I want to take a step back and remind you that the whole goal here is engagement, right? That's my whole goal, is to get these people from just looking to engaging and communicating with me so I can have a conversation with them. That's my goal here. So that's what these text messages and emails are all about. It's not this like huge marketing newsletter that I'm sending to them. It looks like something I'm just firing off to get them to talk to me. It's supposed to look really casual. And that's what it is. I will also say that while you can edit these, be really, really cautious because we have done a lot of testing, right? What outreach gets the most response, right? So these have been really tested. So if you do choose to edit these, that is totally fine. My main suggestion is make it a small edit, like on my site instead of our site, or if you're on a team, our site instead of my site. So I might do something like that. And then the other thing that I would say if you edit them is remember the point, right? The point is to get these people to talk to me. That's the point. Okay. So if someone revisits my site after 14 days, what text is going to be sent to them? I click preview. Hi, first name. So it acknowledges their first name. Anything with these cool little brackets, those are called merge tags. And so merge tags are where we are going to put that direct contact information in, right? So you don't have to worry about adding in someone's first name. It's going to be here for you. So, hi, Kelly. Thanks for visiting our site. Are you focused on any specific areas or property types? And then it says my name, Christina. So that's really short, right? That is a text that I would fire off at someone. Hey, what are you interested in? So again, it's designed to be short and sweet and to get them to engage with us. That's it. Hi, thanks for visiting our site. Are you focused on a specific area or property type? So the questions here are, well, I can't remember the actual term for it, but it's where we are not asking them yes or no questions, right? We are asking them something again to get them to respond to me. So I have, when someone visits my site 5 times in the last week, then I'm going to fire off this text message. Hi, Christina. Great to see you using the site again. Do you have any questions about specific listings? Or can I do some research and send a list of properties in a specific area or size, etc., over to you? So you might have feelings about this. Maybe I don't want them to know that I can see that they're on my site. So that I might make an adjustment to. Maybe I realize that they're probably already getting search alerts, right? That's the main way people are re-engaged back in our site. So maybe I do want to make changes to this one. I'm not going to, I'm going to leave it, right? But if they're visiting my site 5 times in the last week, I might ask them, so they're probably already on search alerts. So that's one thing to know. I don't have to go add this search alert in. It's probably already there. I can choose whether I like that it tells them they're on my site or not. Some of us like that it makes, I'm like the secret agent, right? I can see you favorited something and I'm like, hey, I think you'll really like this property. You should, what do you like about it or something? And some of us, it's okay to tell them like, hey, I'm on a system, right? I'm a business person. I have a business system. So you can come in here and edit these. You don't have to as well. You can turn off the alerts, turn on the alerts for yourself. You can turn off or on the alerts for your contacts based on status or as the individual. The most important thing to think about is just let the system do its thing, right? The whole point again is to get people to engage with you. So that's what we're really doing here is encouraging engagement and doing outreach. So hopefully they'll talk to us, right? So since today we're focusing on behavioral alerts, I'm just going to read through all of these with us. So if a lead visits after 14 days, they will get the text message, hi, first name, thanks for visiting our site. Are you focused on any specific areas, property types? Christina. If they don't have a text, they will get the email. Hi, Kelly. I'm glad you're able to spend a bit of time on my site again. It looks like you're doing a few different home searches. I'll research your areas and set up some property alerts to keep you top of market. Is there anything specific you're looking for? Best, Christina. If they come back to your website after 5 times this week, they get the text message. Hi, Kelly. Great to see you using the site again. Do you have any questions about specific listings? Or I can do some research and send a list of properties in a specific area and size, etc., over to you. Christina Hampton, my phone number, and my website. If they don't have a text, they get the email. Hi, Kelly. I want to drop you an email and a text just to let you know it's great to see you using the site and hopefully getting some good value from it. I do a lot of work compiling a list of hot properties in the market. Can I send some of those to you? Price range? Right? So if someone triggers that, you can then put them on a, weekly search alert. You can choose to manually send them properties each week. There's all kinds of things that you could do here. You could choose not to do anything unless they respond. There's all kinds of things. Darren, yeah, I see your hand up. Oh, go ahead and unmute yourself. Sorry, I thought I did that, but apparently not.
You mentioned about going into the individual contact, and I could adjust their behavioral. I'm kind of following along,
Yeah.
so I'm on two devices here. So I'm just looking at one of my contacts, and then to the right where it says more actions, is that where we go to? And it says, but all it says is
Exactly.
behavioral alerts.
So
How can I adjust the behavioral alert for the individual contact?
So you just turn it off or you turn it on. You wouldn't adjust like what behaviors they're tracking or the messages that are sent to the individual person. It's just turn it off or turn it on.
So how could we adjust that particular person's is there a way to adjust, how often we reach out or how often we text or email them or whatever, or no?
Okay. So that would be more of like a smart campaign. So a smart campaign
This is only if they go to our website then.
Yes. Yeah. Smart campaigns are systems of outreach. After 3 days after I meet you, I'm going to call you. 4 days after the open house, I'm going to email you, right? It's a system of when I reach out to you. So as an agent, I'm reaching out to my contact. I can't control if now is a good time for me to reach out to you or not. I don't know if your kid just threw up. I don't know, I don't know anything that's going on. With behavioral alerts, the thing that's really cool about them is I know that you're looking at real estate right now because these behaviors are occurring on my KV Core website. So I know that now is a good time to communicate with you about real estate, which is why these get a really high response rate. We get a higher response rate from these than we do smart campaigns because of that timing, right? If I get an email, even if the email gets sent to me at 8 a.m., if I don't look at it until midnight, I'm not going to I'll respond to an email, but I wouldn't respond to like a text message,
So basically, the only time we change per contact, individual contacts, the only thing we can change just to turn on or off the behavioral alerts, which only alerts us and then responds to that once they go on our website. Correct?
Yep, exactly. Okay.
Yeah. So to do the so the other way where, what I was talking about, where I could, send them something that would be more on the smart campaign side, is what you're saying.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
And they work hand in hand. If I have someone on a smart campaign, so I've been giving them, outreach to grow the relationship, then I've already kind of shown that I'm a person. And so then when they go and trigger a behavioral, they're more likely to respond to that than if I only ever triggered a behavioral alert.
And then if we want to, go into that particular client, and then we're above the more actions where it says send text or send email, as long as we have email and text, I can just send what I want to them at that time. Let's just say, they haven't looked at anything, but I just want to say, hey, the house you were looking at, how we got connected, I just lowered the price, or seller's gonna contribute towards closing costs. I would just click on that send text and then type in the message to them, and it says here where I can put the MLS ID of the listing we're referring to. And then what's this canned response? What is that?
Good question. Let me grab a lead with a phone number. Stephanie here. So canned response is something that's pre-created, something that's canned. So I could say, hi, here is my message. I can type whatever I want, or I can look at something that's been canned and pre-created. So we have about 60 text messages, I believe, and over 100 emails of things that are pre-created for you. So I don't know what this says. Need a lender. Hi, this is Christina Hampton with my website. Are you looking to buy soon? I have some great lenders if you're still needing to get pre-approved that I can send you info on. Did you know that my services as a buyer's representative are free? That's a cool text to send. So that's something I didn't create. That was in here for me from Inside Real Estate from KV Core. Your companies might make you some as well. They might make some canned responses. You can make your own canned responses. They're called templates. But so that's what that is. Like if I know I should reach out to Stephanie, but I don't really know what to say, I just kind of pick one of these, right? And I send it to her.
Okay, I see where I click on the question mark or not the question, the microscope deal and the icon there, and it shows all the different things that I click on, and it'll send to them automatically, so I don't have to type it all out, basically.
Exactly. So like
and then when we send something to them, will it come up as our personal phone number? So they know who it came from, or what does it look like on their end? Once, say I send a text, will it come from my personal cell phone number or a different number?
That depends on how you send it. So if we're in the computer like I am right now, this text message is going to come from my smart number. If I am opening up the mobile apps, I think I still have that screenshot. Yeah. So if I'm looking at Mandy from here and I click this plus button, it's going to allow me to send her a text. If I send her a text from the app, it allows me to select cell phone number or smart number. So I get to pick what she sees.
Where's that at?
This is in the mobile app.
Okay, I'm on my desktop right now. So how can I would want every time I send a text, I want it to come from my personal cell number. How do we make sure that that's doing that? Because if they respond to that, reply to that, I want to see it on my phone.
Yeah. So one thing, I'll definitely answer your question, but if they respond to the smart number, you get notified about that. It doesn't come into your text messaging, but you do get a notification. So I just want to say that. But if you do all of your texting from the mobile app, then it will always come from your cell phone number. But think about things like these behavioral automations. These come from the smart number because they're being sent automatically through the KV Core computer system. All the text messages that are in your smart campaigns, those are also going to come from the smart number as well because they're automatically being sent through the computer. So I'm a fan of the smart number because I could take things off my plate. I don't have to worry about it. The more I can automate, the better. I definitely hear you. So you can send your text messaging. If you use the mobile app, then you get to pick that you're sending it from your cell phone number instead of the smart number. That's just that extra step that you need to take. And then you're missing out on this automation, and you would actually need to go in and turn these things off.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Good question. All right. So here with my behavioral alerts, I've got my contacts who are going to receive my behavioral alerts. I can decide whether or not I'm getting notified. I can edit things in here based on, if that really sounds like something I would say or not. I can, so those are kind of like the controls that I have over this specific messaging. So we talked through that. The one other process that I want to talk about here is behavioral automation. So we're kind of taking just totally different topic. So as a whole, what this is doing is, again, looking for opportunities for us to engage with that person. That's what we're doing here. We have the behavioral alerts, which are looking at their specific behaviors and alerting us to that. The other thing here is behavioral automation. This is one of the few places where KV Core automatically changes someone's status. Okay, so if we are looking at the status and the definitions of these statuses, I like to look in a record this. So I've got my sphere, friends, family, past clients, etc. And then I have these three statuses. All of these three statuses, my goal is the same, and that's to get them to become a client, right? Prospects, I know they're interested in real estate. Kind of the only thing I do know. Open house lead, FSBO, expired, someone in a credit repair, they're all interested in real estate, but the timing isn't right. They're not talking to me, things like that. Those are my prospects. I have my new leads who are brand new. I don't know anything about them. I'm on a fact-finding mission with them. Are you a buyer? Are you an investor? Are you interested or just looking? Do you own a home? Like, who are you? Those two people, I'm really not expecting. I want a lot of automation, right? I just want a lot of outreach happening for me. Then when they respond, what this tool does, which is on, by the way, as a default. So if my prospects and my new leads, if they respond to any outreach, an email, a text message from the smart number, a phone call, a behavioral alert, if they respond to anything, they get moved to an active lead. The reason we do that is once I've had a conversation with them, I'm not on the same fact-finding mission that I was when they were a new lead. When someone becomes an active lead, the smart campaign that's created, so this is our default campaign. I don't know what you have, so I can't speak to that, but our default campaign is a once a week task reminder for me. So immediately, as that person responds to an email, as they respond to a text, I'm going to get a task that looks like this. And I'm going to start getting those every single week. Reminder, check in with the contact or update their status, because now I'm in charge of the communication. We've started building our relationship together. They're not quite yet a client, so I still need help to remember them, but that's my active lead. So I love this feature because if someone is talking to you, they're not a new lead in the way that our smart campaign is built. So if you go build all your own smart campaigns, then whatever with this feature. But the way our campaigns are built, if I have a new lead and they start talking to me, I don't want them to stay on the new lead campaign anymore. So that's what this does. It toggles them into my active lead and moves them to an active lead smart campaign as long as I have one. Our default campaign is a once a week task reminder, so it's pretty helpful there. So that's behavioral automation. That one's pretty straightforward. I turn it off if I don't like it. I leave it on if I do. Then I need to remember, as my new leads and my prospects talk to me, that I am very in charge of changing their statuses. So that's why I like this. It kind of, again, is my big old safety net. You talk to me, I've asked if you're an investor. I don't want that to be sent to you in a text message automatically. So I love that feature. I personally would leave that on. So those are our two topics that I wanted to talk about today. Behavioral alerts, what they mean, behavioral automation. One more thing I want to show you about that. So my behavioral alerts, as I'm tracking on my dashboard and looking at things, you may have noticed that there are some little symbols, right, in the corner of some of your contacts, not all of them, but some of them. So those symbols actually mean something. So this heart means that Mandy saved and favorited this property. This flame, this means that Stephanie is now a hot lead. A hot lead is someone who has done 4 of these behaviorals, right? So Stephanie, she may be favorited a property. Maybe it's something that she viewed a couple of times. She did a lot of shopping and she comes back a couple times each week. So she is a hot lead. We indicate that for you by giving her a little flame. You also, on your drop-down menu, you can find your hot leads from here as well. So if you're looking for guidance on what to do in your dashboard, I always recommend looking at my hot leads and making sure these are people that I've been talking to on a regular basis. I might even take a browse and look at Stephanie and, well, she's close, make sure they're an active lead, right? Make sure I have some kind of follow up with this person, and so on and so forth. All right, so that is behavioral alerts, behavioral automation. Let me click through all of that because we did all of that. So what questions do you have? On topic, off topic, Q&A portion? What do you want to talk about now? I am going to take a sip of water because my throat's a little, I've been talking for hours. I'm going to go through just for fun. Change it so you can all unmute yourself. I apologize. I usually do that right away. So sorry that I missed that this time. Any questions? Smart campaigns, status overview, hashtags, lead gen, anything like that. I'll just be here quietly until you have questions. I'm gonna pause the recording until we have questions. For the sake of a clean recording, just kidding. Reminder that you can always sign up for these by scanning that QR code. That'll take you straight to our registration. You can also look on your dashboard in our live training calendar. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, we have these 11:30 Pacific. Additionally, you can watch all of these replays on our YouTube channel. So I'm going to give you the, here we go, the YouTube channel. If you're watching the replay, I'm just going to assume that you have it. For everyone else who's live, I'm going to chat you the playlist specifically. So this is all of our KV Core Success Meetups playlists. So many good things in here that are so much fun. Yeah, just a ton of good stuff in here. We have a whole channel too, so we do have some other stuff. For example, let me show you this playlist while we're here. Mastering KV Core. So if you've already done your Agent Quick Start and you're looking for more things to do, we absolutely have more courses for you to take, but I also really like this playlist, this Mastering KV Core Tools for Success. Right, so Smart Campaign Part 1 Basics, Smart Campaign Part 2 Creating Your Own, Monthly Check-In, so things you should do every month to kind of like temperature check, landing pages, custom widgets. It's pretty cool. This is a good playlist. All right, so thank you all for coming. I'm going to stop the recording, but if anyone has questions, we can talk about them.